The quality of life is so different in France. There is the possibility of living a simple life. I would never contemplate raising my daughter in LA. I would never raise any child there. I live a fairly simple life, and that didn't change much after I sold TechCrunch in 2010. I didn't buy a new house or even a new car. The one thing I did splurge on was a boat. Nothing too fancy or large. This woman who was a style icon basically lived in a little cotton dress all her life, a simple life. I lead a simple life. I feed the fish. I walk the dogs. I cook dinner. Occasionally I take a meeting. I live a very simple life. I live away from all the Hollywood hype, and I try to keep it that way. I'm not that lazy, but I don't need that much money. I lead a fairly simple life. For us to support the liquidation of a simple life in a large part of the world is not a particularly attractive prospect. I'm fine with just a simple life. Economy, prudence, and a simple life are the sure masters of need, and will often accomplish that which, their opposites, with a fortune at hand, will fail to do. The Yazidi people, they just want a simple life. Gandhi was a strange guy. There was this simplistic manner, but nobody knows what it costs to provide the simple life of Mohandas Gandhi. Nobody. He traveled on a train by himself. I was raised in the Pacific Islands, so I remember picking fruit every morning for breakfast or collecting the eggs from the chickens in the garden. It was a very simple life, but we had all of these fresh ingredients on our doorstep. I really live a simple life and don't need very much to feel good and happy. Don't get me wrong, I believe you should get what you earn. Sometimes you have to fight for it. Thus it seemed to Haeckel that such simple life could easily be produced from inanimate material. We all want to live a simple life, but nobody really knows how to do that. Every article on these islands has an almost personal character, which gives this simple life, where all art is unknown, something of the artistic beauty of medieval life. I do quite well for myself, but I live a simple life. I live a very simple life. Things have changed so much. People walked away from a simple life we had in the 20s and 30s, and I am glad that I am able to touch that period in our lives with the shows that I do and with the music that I do. I began to realize how simple life could be if one had a regular routine to follow with fixed hours, a fixed salary, and very little original thinking to do. My homies in Gadsden aren't as exposed as I am culturally, which is awesome. That's why I love going home. I'm in the kitchen with people who don't know anything but the simple life, what's important to them, and what's dope. I'm a pretty uncomplicated person. I live a very simple life with my family and I enjoy very ordinary things. There are always things I find difficult, being in crowds, remembering faces. I do like routines. I always travel with someone. My life in Avignon is a very quiet one. I have an apartment that looks over the whole city. I can drop into town, but a lot of the time I write from home. In some respects I still live a very quiet, simple life. My life is not that glamorous. I actually live a pretty simple life, really. I just work. I don't have time to do all these glamorous things. I just do my thing, just work. I came to Southbury because I wanted to live a more simple life. When I was a child, I saw lots of movies about happy people living in Connecticut, and ever since then, that was where I wanted to live. I thought it would be like the movies. And it really is. It's exactly what I hoped it would be. I had a very simple life growing up in the farm country outside of Perugia, and biscotti and warm milk with a tiny bit of coffee were a big part of my morning ritual before walking to school. I live a pretty simple life. I was probably singing before I could talk. Musical theater is my passion. If I could afford it, I would just do dinner theater and live a simple life. I'm a quiet person, and I live a quiet, pleasant, ordinary, simple life. I have a simple life. I mean, you just give me a drum roll, they announce my name, and I come out and sing. In my job I have a contract that says I'm a singer, so I sing. I want to create a family with my fiancée and be able to live a simple life and just be safe. I lead a simple life. I get residuals. I have a family, we're doing alright. I maintain that when I finally retire from my career in music, I will go and live back in Wales, when I am an old person, if I live to be an old person. The water I miss, and the air, there's something different about it. And I miss the simple life. A simple life is good with me. I don't need a whole lot. For me, a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, barefoot on a beach and I'm happy. The real drawback to the simple life is that it is not simple. If you are living it, you positively can do nothing else. There is not time. I have had a simple life. I have amazing support from family, a great set of friends. Financially and emotionally, I have been quite balanced. My father is an amazing person. While he was a huge star, he never carried his stardom home and always remained simple and just our father at home. I have 4 siblings, and we were all very grounded. We lived a very simple life, would go in an auto rickshaw to school, played with normal boys. We are a family that lives probably 90% on wild game. We're certainly working our way toward 100% self-sufficient, looking to raise chickens for eggs, things of that nature, start a garden. We enjoy the simple life. I always say please live a simple life in the city so that we can lead a simple life in the mountains. I think a lot of the guys I know and a lot of people I've talked to, what they want is very often what most people want, a kind of simple life, a livelihood, a family, people who care about them, people they can care about. I think vets on the whole want the same things that everybody else does. Knowing what I know now and what I have been through, would I do it the same? I look at the alternative, a very simple life. It would have been nice to have a simple life. I'm just a regular person who believes life is simple, and I like a simple life. To find the universal elements enough, to find the air and the water exhilarating, to be refreshed by a morning walk or an evening saunter. To be thrilled by the stars at night, to be elated over a bird's nest or a wildflower in spring, these are some of the rewards of the simple life. Let me tell you something, I'm a simple person who lives a simple life. I watched some shows like The Simple Life and The Anna Nicole Smith Show, but I hadn't really watched The Bachelor until I was cast on Unreal. When you become a parent, you leave a lot of things behind and refocus, maybe on how simple life really is and what few things there really are to worry about, and everything else can go by the wayside. I grew up off The Simple Life where they really made just being a personality a thing. That's the great thing about being an actor, stuff shows up that you never thought was going to go down. You get to play or experience an area of the world that, you know, I live a pretty simple life, I'm not much of an adventurer. I like my couch and my television, so when stuff comes up in the job, it's a good deal. I live a reasonably simple life, off the beaten track. The simple life on the farm was everything to me. Nothing was more relaxing after a long plane flight than to reach the winding driveway that led up to my house. The quiet of the night was more soothing than a sleeping pill. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.